Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today, we're going over some amazing stories as things are really starting to heat up for VR as we move into the fall season. We have updates for Lone Echo 2, Resident Evil 4, Medal of Honor is coming to the Quest, and those huge upcoming VR MMOs Zenith and Ilysia just received a huge amount of extra funding. HTC is planning an event prior to Oculus Connect with a mysterious product announcement, and finally, we have some huge updates for a standalone Valve Index. There are of course links and timestamps in the description, but before we jump into this video is brought to you by Kiwi Design, your one-stop for all VR accessories. Are you looking for a Quest 2 Elite strap that won't suddenly snap on you, or a face pad that won't irritate your skin? Well, Kiwi has you covered. They carry a large array of accessories from cable management systems to replacement facial covers. There are links in the description, and don't forget to use my affiliate code to help support this channel. Okay guys, today's video is packed, so I'm gonna move even faster than normal. We're gonna start things off like usual with the release schedule, and first up is Puzzle Bobble 3D Vacation Odyssey. Puzzle Bobble 3D is a reimagining of the classic Puzzle Bobble title, which previously released for the Oculus Quest, and now it's coming this Tuesday to the PlayStation platform. It's playable on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, both in and outside of VR. It features a 100-level solo campaign and online PvP modes, so if you're looking for a bit of nostalgia with a new age spin, go check out Puzzle Bobble 3D. Next up is the survival title Song in the Smoke, which is releasing Thursday, October 7th for PlayStation VR, Oculus Quest, and Rift platforms. Song in the Smoke will have you stranded in the wilderness, forcing you to scavenge and hunt to stay alive. The game is said to have some truly unique and intelligent creature AI, and this title is also set to deliver a magical fantasy narrative. Combine this with the beautiful graphics, and I'm definitely intrigued to see more. Speaking of intriguing, also on Friday, October 7th, we are getting the Oculus exclusive Shadowgate VR, The Mines of Mythrock. Shadowgate is a long-running classic series filled with remakes over the years. This is obviously the first time one will be made for VR, and it looks like we're getting an exciting fantasy RPG dungeon crawling experience. It'll be filled with your typical traps, puzzles, and loads of hideous creatures. If they manage to fit a cool storyline in there, this will be a title I just have to try. Now our next title was actually hard for me to try, and I couldn't make it the whole way through. I am of course talking about Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife, the insanely creepy horror game, which is now coming to the PlayStation VR on October 7th. While the game wasn't exactly up my alley, it should be on the list of any true horror game fan. It's a bit of a slow burn in the beginning, followed by ever-increasing creepier encounters. I noped out about 90 minutes into the game, but I'm sure you guys can do better than I did. Maybe the party-style title, minigame-filled, Loco Dojo Unleashed is just what I need to forget about Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. I already spoke about this classic VR title coming to the Oculus Quest last week, so I'm not going to spend too much time now, but if you're looking for an online party game with 16 different modes to try, well, you have one coming this Thursday. Okay, so that was this week's release schedule, but there's even more great news. This week, Oculus released a lot of additional release dates and a few other surprises. The first one being, after multiple delays, the Oculus Rift exclusive Lone Echo 2 is now only 8 days away, releasing on October 12th. This caught me off guard, and I absolutely cannot wait to jump into this title. The original Lone Echo is some of the best storytelling and graphics that VR has to offer. In the original Lone Echo, you are stranded on a space station that's experiencing a catastrophic failure due to a space anomaly. The story only gets crazier from there, and Lone Echo 2 is set to pick up right where the original left off. If you haven't played the original just yet, I highly recommend you pick it up right now and get ready for the second title. Now the second bit of good news is the Oculus Quest 2 exclusive Resident Evil 4 is releasing on October 21st. This is a VR version of a beloved classic Resident Evil title that's ideal for the nostalgic among us and those who have never played this game. In terms of things like gameplay length and cutscenes, Resident Evil 4 is going to be a lot more than we're used to getting in a traditional VR title. There was a little bit of bad news here though, as we learned that these cutscenes will not be viewed in a first-person perspective. You wouldn't want to experience motion sickness-inducing dives through windows, and the game had to settle on allowing you to watch these scenes in a theatrical big screen style. Unfortunately, this is a necessary compromise without having to rework major parts of the game. And the final curveball from Facebook was Medal of Honor Above and Beyond coming to the Oculus Quest 2 this this year. Medal of Honor received mixed reviews when it released for PSVR, and my experience was poor to say the least. The game also featured a tremendous file size of 120 gigs, which has luckily been shrunk down to 45 gigs for the Oculus Quest 2, but that's still a massive amount of space, especially for those rocking the 64GB model. Now, since I didn't get to really experience the title the first time around, I'm definitely jumping in and playing it on the Oculus Quest 2, and will let you know what my experience is like. I'm sure the game hasn't fixed some of the pacing issues, but I am curious to see how far they can push in Oculus Quest 2, and they might actually be able to solve one of the other issues, namely the complete lack of players in the online multiplayer. The online multiplayer was a great experience, and felt like classic Call of Duty, but you can't enjoy a game that's only filled with bots. So let's see what happens when I revisit this game. There's no release date just yet, but I'm assuming it'll either be announced at Oculus Connect on the 28th, or be immediately available. Okay, so before we start discussing hardware, there's just a few other cool stories I want to go over. The first one is for the upcoming VR MMO Zenith, which recently received $10 million in additional funding to help support this title. Now, $10 million might sound like an insane amount, but when it comes to game production, and especially MMOs, it's not that much money. It does, however, help solidify the fact that this will most likely be a very successful VR game. I've covered Zenith multiple times on the channel, and while I don't think it's the best use of VR technology, nor is it my ideal style of game, I do think it will be very successful and ideal for those looking for a classic style MMO in VR. Now, not to be outdone, the other upcoming VR MMO, Ilysia, also announced that they received additional funding, are taking on additional staff, and that their second alpha is coming soon, either in October or early November. Now, in my personal experience, Ilysia is much further behind than Zenith, but they are, however, taking much bigger chances with their gameplay mechanics and style that I hope eventually pay off. I'll obviously keep you guys updated on both titles as much as possible. Okay, so our next story is definitely an interesting one, albeit a little bit cringy. Oculus has created a mixed reality series dedicated to showing off some gameplay. They're putting pros up against other gamers, and while I don't deny this is a great opportunity to make VR more mainstream and grab the appeal of more people outside of the community, from what I've seen though, does have a little bit of a cringy feel. Almost as if there's some forced enthusiasm here. Again though, mixed reality is absolutely the best way to show off VR content, that is undeniable, and I'm sure this content will appeal to certain people and should be successful in extending the reach of VR. As of making this video, there's currently only one episode available, so I'll reserve some judgment until later on. Okay guys, there's honestly a lot more stories I could cover today. The news is pretty jam-packed, but enough is enough, and let's just start discussing some hardware. First on the list is an upcoming event from HTC, which will be announcing some type of mysterious new device. As typical with HTC marketing, I have no idea what to expect. We have a couple images of a product that looks like a thermos. It's next to your bed at night when you're reading. It's next to your computer open during the day when you're on your laptop. It's tipped over when you're meditating or sitting there eating popcorn. What on earth is this device? The only other hint we have is the slogan, "Go with the flow," and I don't know, now I just have to pee. Seriously, what is going on here? Now, there is some speculation this is related to HTC Proton, and this device might be used in tandem with another product, but I honestly have no clue, and I just have to wait until October 14th when they make their official announcement. I'm not allowing myself to get hyped up at all. I've repeatedly convinced myself that HTC would start supporting consumers again, and I really just don't have any more hope left in me, but let's truly hope I'm wrong. Okay guys, here is the huge story, the Valve Codename Deckard project. Quick disclaimer here, guys. I'm going to condense hours of information into about 3 minutes. If you're looking for some truly in-depth breakdowns, there will be links in the description that direct you to Sadly It's Bradley's latest live stream. I have not done a quarter of the research this amazing young dude has done. My personal experience is limited to just reading all the patents from Valve and also trying to verify statements that other people have already made. This upcoming information is a condensed Cliff Notes information of that, and again, if you want those details, there is a link down in the description, because in truth, Sadly It's Bradley deserves an extreme amount of credit here. So probably the most interesting thing in this hardware breakdown is the fact that we are looking at a hybrid PSVR standalone headset. There are multiple code references indicating that the onboard hardware is looking to work in tandem with another external hardware device. This could be something like the headset connected to a PC over a wireless or wired connection, or even the headset directly plugged into something like a Steam Deck. Also extremely significant is the fact that the onboard standalone hardware has most likely been identified as a yet-to-be-released new Qualcomm 12-core chip. or as Bradley puts it, a new Qualcomm chip. Now this information was gathered by a build of SteamOS 3 that Bradley had access to, and he scoured it for references to the codename Deckard. Bradley has also most likely identified Valve's micro OLED manufacturer and their lens manufacturer. So on top of a micro OLED display, we're also expecting to see a varifocal lens. There's also the likely possibility we will be moving on from base station tracking, and possibly some modular options built into the head strap itself. Does this mean there'll be different versions at different price points, helping to make the Valve Index more competitive, and at the same time still support the enthusiast market? Well, for that, it's definitely possible, but even if Valve goes the route of all the bells and whistles and gives us another $1,000 headset, I think it'll still do pretty well, considering the fact that even at $1,000, the Valve Index is now the second most popular Steam VR headset, and that's when you put it up against plenty of other much cheaper options. Currently, I am hoping for the multi-tiered option, allow people to get a standalone headset that might be priced a little bit more expensive than a Quest, but definitely cheaper than $1,000, and then give them the option to add on features and connect it to a PC, depending on their use case. Another thing I'm hoping for is for Valve to undercut Facebook Connect and make a surprise announcement, just like they did 2 years ago, for the Valve Index right around the same time as the Oculus Quest 2. So between all the new games and the possibility of new hardware, October might end up being a very expensive month. Okay everybody, that was today's new VR news. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you guys on next time.